Hello fans, this is Tolinar, and I'm bringing you the Lightning Returns playable demo in honor of the release on the 11th. I'm looking forward to it myself, and I'm going to show you some nuts and bolts of how to take combat apart and get a little better at this game before the launch. So let's jump right into the demo. As for myself, I am a strategist. I have modest reflexes and a good head for numbers. We're not going to enable Outer World. It's been wonky with me lately. Now, I really do like the story and the plot of the Final Fantasy games, but this is a combat tutorial, and we are going to skip all cutscenes and tutorials. So I'm going to bypass this little baby, and I've got my own tutorial I'm going to teach you, so we're going to skip the game tutorial too. I'm going to assume you know how to play. Now, I'm going to start this match off by doing something you should never do in combat, shield popping. You always want to hold the button down, because tapping shield, tapping any guard command, will drain your ATB. Watch what happens. Okay, there goes the ATB, just as quick as it can go. Huh? Beautiful. Okay, now ATB recharges at a nice steady rate of 2 per second on the garb you have selected. But look at the bottom. As you can see, the other 2 garbs are recharging very quickly. This is because ATB recharges faster when the garb is not selected. It gets 3 times as fast, actually. So you get 6 each on the back garbs, and 2 for you have the one selected. That puts you at about 15 ATB a second. Spend faster than that, and you will run out of actions. So, combat in Lightning Returns is all about pacing. You look for openings and exploit them. As long as you fight like this, then battles which would otherwise take a lot of effort can be extremely simple. Okay, he's dead. Let's move right along to the enemies. We'll take a look at how they fight and what their weaknesses are.
Damn, I'm trapped.
Okay. This one's a Niblet.
You think you can beat
Niblets are one of the 2 enemies available. They are physical resilient. As you can see, he's not taking very much damage there. But they are vulnerable to magic damage, in particular fire damage. Okay, so he's toast. Good enough. We'll take a look at the Niblet's attack as well. Their primary attack is called Glutton. It's basically they lunge at you. Whenever a Niblet is going to attack, like a lot of others, it will move right up on you. See, here he comes. He's ready to do his thing. When he opens his mouth all the way and you can see the back of its throat, it's time to just guard. Also, if you interrupt the command Glutton with any sort of attack, then it will stagger, and that'll stop it right in its tracks. Note that it does float, which means unlike other enemies, it can't be launched. But mostly, it's a harmless enemy. Let's move on to the Anubis, which is a much more sturdy foe. You can blow 3 full ATB gauges on an Anubis, completely exhaust yourself, and not kill it. So it's key to turn its own attacks against it. An Anubis has 2 attacks that are kind of similar. The first one, it jumps up into the air and hefts its axe down at you. The correct timing on this is to just guard as it's starting to jump. The other one, he'll drop his axe down, you'll hear a tink, and then slide along the ground and swipe at you. The correct timing for that guard is when you hear the tink. Let's give it a try. There. Alright. As you can see, you get good damage while he's in this staggered mode. Quite a bit, really. Now, once he stands up and starts walking again, the damage gets reduced. Note that he is still currently staggered. So even if I just guard while he's staggered, he will not get staggered again. I'll demonstrate that here. I'll stay closer to him so his stagger doesn't wear off. Come on, big guy. Show me what you got. There's that tink. As you can see, he's staggered, so I just guard, I take no damage, but he doesn't stagger. Alright then. I'll show you another way too, but that can wait. Let's get this guy out of the road. Generally, the key to defeating these guys efficiently is to turn their own attacks back on them. They'll take much more damage and go down much faster. Okay. Now, if you spam attacks, they take time. We'll get some Warrior and some Frost Potions to play with Xaltis. But let's just take a peek at our gear, shall we? What do we got? Maybe we got some good ones, maybe not. Looks like we got upgraded Thunder, upgraded Guard, upgraded Mediguard, and that's all we got. Not too much, only 3. Oh well, can't win them all. Let's get going. I'll explain what I was checking for there, but I was basically seeing how good my gear is in comparison to average. Okay, we're gonna skip this cutscene. Yes, you can even skip those conversational cutscenes. Okay. And we're gonna sell off everything except for the Warrior's Potion. I normally would be using X Potions, Holy Waters, very useful items if you don't know what's going on, but I know this part of the game inside and out. I fear nothing, so we're just gonna buy some toys to play with a little bit later and show just how quickly Zoltis, the boss of this tutorial, can go down. Okay, let's talk about field motion a little bit. Dashing is an important mechanic. Basically, the bar has 3 states. It's either discharging, refilling, or idle. And as long as it's not idle, you're being efficient. So you just don't let it recharge all the way. You don't let it empty all the way. Ooh, he got me. Okay, when fighting multiple enemies, remove the weak ones quickly so you can focus on harder targets. There we go. Now I want to show you the other way, so I'm actually going to not just guard this guy. Okay, let's try taking him out the other way. I'm going to go ahead and knock him up with a Blitz combo. Note that Blitz on its 3rd hit also launches. As he stands up, I'm going to use Blizzaga. Okay. And as he stands up, I'm going to use Blizzaga. And maybe you're noticing what I'm doing here. This is called juggling. If the enemy never gets a chance to take an action, it'll never hit me. Oh, I think he's standing. No, he's not. Okay, Blizzaga. And it's over. Juggling is a good way to take down enemies that have dangerous attacks. I wouldn't really count Anubis in that category, but you can practice in the tutorial, just not on Niblets, which won't launch. And it can be a good way to take an enemy down. Let's get going. Now, about damage. In addition to just guarding, there is such a thing in this game as just attacking. Just attacking is when you time your attacks with just the right timing on the button presses that you get a shiny sort of shield. I'm trying to do it here, but I have bad reflexes, so I can't. I'm not. Okay, we'll try again. Come on. There we go. Get you to do that. We're going to try it with the rapid fire. There. See the shield? That little extra glow means that I'm getting about 15% more damage. You have to focus, press the button just as the previous attack comes out. For spells, it's just as it leaves the hand or just as it launches, or spells like lightning. And with physical attacks, it's just before the attack makes contact with the enemy. That's how you get the correct timing. If you butter your attacks from one to the next, nice and smooth like that, you'll dramatically improve your damage. Very effective. It's not something I rely on, though. I mainly use tactics. Now, let's talk about damage a little more closely. Most games, a major consideration is your DPS, or the damage per second, making sure you're doing nice, efficient damage that way. But in this game, you really need to have a secondary focus to DPA, or damage per ATB. You want to use attacks that are efficient. For example, Blitz doesn't have as efficient damage as, say, Attack or Blizzaga. So when you spend your ATB, you don't get as much damage per ATB spent. And if you're out of ATB and you didn't get the most out of it, then you're losing damage. Because you're limited over time as to how much ATB you get, spending ATB efficiently is the easiest way to improve your damage against enemies that aren't going to go down quickly. Of course, if they're going to go down in 2 hits, just use your strong moves on them and they're gone. Oh, this is neat. You can actually jump on ladders at a run. There we go. I failed so bad, but we're going to try this again. It's just a neat little something. Oh yeah, I am the worst driver ever. Look at Lightning fail. Forget it. But you can do it, I promise. Okay. 2 fireballs. Out of the way. I got places to be.
Judgment has been delivered.
We're going to make our way quickly out to Zoltis, and I'm going to show you how you can break apart all of Xaltus's attacks, completely demolish him in fairly short order, and I've exhausted myself. Here we go. Just pick him apart. And then, once we get done using the base kit, and I show you all the different staggers and vulnerabilities that Xaltus has, I'll go ahead and do some customizing, show off all the different outfits available to you in the tutorial, and generally do what I can to improve my combat efficiency versus Xaltus. Okay, we're gonna come on down then. No potions, I'll use one overclock, and we will destroy Xaltus. Here we go, skipping the cutscene. Right, so Xaltus has two types of staggers and a weak spot. Exploiting them is well, technically, two weak spots. Exploiting them is key to defeating him. Start your fights off by ripping him up with thunder. Okay, here we go. Just trying to land the best thunders I can get. The minute he activates any kind of attack, overclock, and keep right on spamming thunder. Once he staggers, spend off the rest of your gauge, wait for the slowdown period to end, and frost strike its head. It'll stagger a second time. Now come around the enemy. Okay, once your blue gauge is up, go ahead and switch. Blizzaga once you get behind the enemy. A couple hits will knock off its tail. Once its tail comes off, it'll get back down a second time. Go ahead and spam Ice Magic until it recovers from the staggers, and then switch to another set. Okay, here we go. Now, you want to mostly stay in equilibrium from here out. It's not going to be your real damage dealer. You should use it to guard off attacks instead. Your primary attack focus is to use Blizzaga on it to knock it in the air. Then switch. Use Frost Strike on the head to stagger it. Then continue Frost Striking. Oh, I missed. Lovely. Okay. And then spam Blizzaga at it. Whoops. There we go. Now, just spend any extra ATB you've got on Equilibrium. Wait for your main attacks to recharge. Okay. And guard using Equilibrium. Come on, come on. Note that once you've hit all of his weaknesses, Xaltus will start using these quick little claw attacks on you. If he bites or uses any sort of a physical attack, give him a couple Frost Strikes in the face.
Thanks for waiting.
There we go. Pop him up. No, he's gonna use this. I missed his head. Oh well. Okay, we're waiting for him to make a move here, because I've lost a lot of gauge on the Frost Strike. Okay. Come on. Got a couple hits on him there. Blizzaga, launch him. Okay. Frost Strike until I'm out of gauge. Switch. And start making use of Blizzaga to melt off his HP. Spend the last of my ATB on this. Okay. Okay. This is good. Leave enough for guarding. Still, that attack is very quick. You're gonna have trouble interrupting it if you get him this weak. So just expect that it will be difficult, if not impossible, to interrupt it. Okay. And a few more Frost Strikes in before finishing him off with Blizzagas. And his HP is going down at a nice steady clip. Okay. Yeah. Note that I switch away from Equilibrium to quickly recharge my ability to go. I can't. Even though I see it coming, I can't stop him. Yeah, alright, pop him up. Let's get him dead. Note that I wait for him to hit the ground. Ooh, I didn't get his head. I gotta move. I gotta turn over to the side, get in front of him again. Okay, just holding the guard button down rather than trying to time that so I can get a couple Frost Strikes in on him. And he's almost gone. He'll be gone in a minute. Come on, big guy. Come on. Couple more shots there. Launch him. No, he'll die. Okay, so that's Xaltus, his 3 primary weaknesses. The 3 garbs you get really aren't that good for taking him apart, but they can get the job done. We'll go into Xaltus a little bit more detail later on. For now, though, we are going to go ahead and take a look at the various other garbs that we have available to us.